All right, guys, today's case takes us to Colorado, where we meet Karen, a mother trying to obtain a protection order against her own son and daughter over hurtful things they allegedly said years ago, even though they've had no contact with her since. This unusual legal move raises powerful questions about unresolved family tensions, the boundaries of the law, and how old emotional wounds can continue to fuel conflict long after communication has completely broken down, turning a deeply personal family dispute into a dramatic courtroom battle.
All right. The court is calling 25C120 and 25C121. 25C120 is Agneta Nashtigal. How do you pronounce your last name, ma'am?
Well, it's Nachtigall. I mean, he can say it better than I can.
Nashtigal. So Agneta Nashtigal versus Karen Nashtigal. And the other case, 25C121, is Agneta Nashtigal versus Carl Nashtigal. And these are your son and daughter?
Yes.
I really get concerned about these types of protection orders. All right, so I'm going to give you some general information, Ms. Nashtigal. I am going to take testimony from you, and it is your burden to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that a risk or threat of physical harm or threat of psychological or emotional harm exists to you from your son and daughter. If I find that that risk or threat of physical harm or threat of psychological or emotional harm does exist, I would grant you a temporary protection order and set a permanent protection order hearing. Of course, today I would only be hearing from one side in the case. If it is set for a permanent protection order hearing, then Ms. Carl Nashtigal and Karen Nashtigal would both be served with the papers that you have filed and appear, and it would be a court trial where, again, it is your burden to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that the acts which you allege occurred and that they will continue to occur in the future. That is your burden to prove. You have to be prepared for a court trial on that day where you would present any testimony or evidence that you have and any exhibits that you might have. Exhibits are things like documents or photographs or other things. And then you would present your testimony and evidence, and Ms. Karen Nashtigal and Mr. Carl Nashtigal would have an opportunity to ask you questions, or if they have an attorney, the attorney could ask you questions. And then once you've concluded your side of the story, then they can present their side of the story, and you, or if you have an attorney, would have the opportunity to cross-examine them and their witnesses. And then I will make a decision as to whether you have met your burden to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that the acts that you allege in your verified complaint occurred, and they will continue to occur in the future. Do you understand the process? Do you have any questions about the process?
Yeah.
You have questions, or you understand? I'm sorry, I asked you
understand.
2 questions.
Yeah, I
Okay.
understand.
All right. If you could raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. State your name for the record.
Agneta Nashtigal.
Could you move that microphone closer to you, ma'am?
Agneta Nashtigal.
Okay, and let's start with your protection order against Karen Noctegal. Why do you believe that she is a risk or that she poses a risk or threat of physical harm or threat of psychological or emotional harm to you?
She has been doing it ever since she moved to Colorado. She's been mean and nasty.
Being rude or hurtful may be unpleasant, but the law doesn't exist to shield us from every difficult personality we encounter. We all have the choice to distance ourselves from people we don't get along with, and simply disliking someone isn't enough grounds for legal intervention. Protection orders are meant to address genuine threats, harassment, or harm, not to manage personal conflicts or punish someone for being unpleasant.
So what?
As soon as she put her foot in our house, she started being mean to me, and
But, protection orders aren't about people being mean or nice. What is she doing specifically that causes you to feel she poses a risk or threat of physical harm or psychological or emotional harm? What is she doing specifically?
but I guess it's kind of hard to say. I kept on running away from her because she's mean, and locked myself in my bedroom, and I started to get high blood pressure in the beginning, and I didn't want to say anything to my husband and so I kept it all inside for years, and then finally it became so bad. I was telling him all the things he was doing to me, and then my heart started feeling weird, and then I ended up having a stroke. And then my doctor, of course, he wanted to know if I knew I got a stroke. I said, yeah, I'm afraid of my daughter. Yeah, she's, the way she acts and behaves,
So what is she doing specifically that causes you concern?
There's so much. She's
Well,
very
tell me what-
sneaky.
1 second. What has she done in August that you feel?
Okay. When I wrote her that note, it's been about a year and a half now that stay far away from me. So she has stayed far away from me. She has not come around, and I have not talked to her. But she's using my son as a supply and my granddaughters as a supply to be mean and nasty. And just recently, my husband, when he goes and see his daughter and son, he comes home and he's not like the same person. He's like nervous. And looking at him, I thought, what's going on here? And that one day, after acting weird for 3 days to 4 days, just staring at me and acting crazy. I mean, not crazy, but acting strange. And then all of a sudden he goes crying like a baby, and he says, I can't do it. I can't do it.
It seems unlikely that his emotions were really about the kids. More likely, he was overwhelmed after being repeatedly belittled while sitting right in front of you, feeling powerless to respond. Sometimes people hold back their true feelings because they fear that speaking honestly will only escalate the situation. So the frustration builds silently until it becomes too much to handle.
But what does that mean, Ms. Noctegal? I'm still not understanding what it sounds like what you're telling me is Karen Noctegal is not having contact with you. Is that correct?
I told her not to because I'm going to call 911.
So she's obeying that. So why are you feeling you need a protection order?
Because she's using my grandchildren and my son. And if I go, he was going to take me to the market this one time, and he contacted his sister and said, I'm taking mom to Safeway Market. And they know I'm very sensitive. And I'm afraid I'm gonna get another stroke, and I got a mini stroke. Because I knew what she was up to, and I still have side effects from that last...
So what is she up to? I don't understand. I'm still not hearing facts that really are helpful. What is she up to that causes...
She's slandering me. She is...
Slandering. What does she say about you? What do you mean she's slandering you?
How can I explain this? She also gets my grandchildren to verbal abuse me or do something abusing, and my son.
And how do you know this, and what are the grandkids saying?
Well, my two grandchildren, I had a Christmas party, and that was about 3 years ago, and for my grandchildren only. My daughter would not leave. She didn't want to drop her boys off, and then after we had eating the party and we were going to go open some Christmas present, I knew my daughter was up to something, and she sat down by the fireplace, and then when my granddaughter walked by me, and she just verbal abused me, nasty words.
What did she say? 3 years ago?
I don't even remember, and I don't want to remember it because the way it happened was nasty. I was sitting on the sofa, and my daughter goes, "Oh, I heard that." And she's laughing, and she thought I was funny that my granddaughter was going to say those words. And then my granddaughter was so embarrassed, and she didn't even want to hang around to open presents. She just ran to the bathroom with her phone and stayed in there the most of the party. And then
3 years ago? There's nothing...
It's about 3-4 years ago that happened.
So has anything happened this year? Just the Safeway incident where your son called your daughter and said he was taking you to the store? Is that all that's happened this year?
I misunderstood you. So, no.
Well, I'm asking whether... 3 years ago is a long time, and you don't remember exactly what your granddaughter said. And we don't know if the granddaughter... You're saying that the granddaughter said that because of your daughter. But I guess what I'd like to have you focus on is what's happened more recently, like this year.
Well, my younger daughter, Sabina, it happened this year, okay?
Okay.
We were taking her out to Hungry Bear for luncheon. And she had just come from my daughter's house. And she asked if she could look at my phone, okay? And I said, okay. And I said, since you want to look at my phone, you can see what's wrong with my sound at this point, because there's something wrong with it. Anyway, she looked guilty. But anyway, after we left, we followed her because we were going to go down the street, and she thought she was going to fool me, I guess. So she went past where she usually turns to go up to her house. My daughter's house is behind Walgreens up in the hill. So she went further down, and then she turned around and she went back to go up to her house. So then when I got...
To whose house? To Sabina's house? Or
my
to your daughter's house?
My daughter's house.
Daughter Karen's house.
Yeah, Karen, sorry.
And
when I got home, I was going to use my phone, and she erased everything.
Sabina did?
Mm-hmm.
Sabina's not a party to this case. So are you, I mean, you're not asking for a protection order against Sabina.
No, I'm not afraid of them. I just stay as far as I can from them.
Yeah.
And my granddaughter Cora, I stay away from because I don't know what else they're going to do to me. And I stay away from Sabina. And my son, he's been bullying me like crazy. So
When you say bullying, what do you mean by that?
well, he's on top of me, just
What do you,
calling me names and all kinds of stuff.
what names is he calling you?
I don't want to remember them. I really don't.
Have to. Otherwise, I can't give you a protection order. So you have to remember.
Okay, then you cannot give me a protection order. That's it then.
I understand you may be trying to present the situation as serious, but the point still stands. If the reason for seeking a protection order stems from something that allegedly happened 3 years ago, and even that reason is unclear or difficult to recall, it raises real doubt about whether a protection order necessary at all. These legal measures are intended for situations involving ongoing risk or credible threats, not distant conflicts that no longer present an immediate concern.
Okay. So I just have to be worried and get more strokes. I still have a side effect of my the mini stroke I had. It's going back and forth. My head and brain is just...
And I'm sorry that that's happening to you, but I have to follow the law, Ms. Nachtigall. And that means you have to prove that, and proving means you have the burden to prove that you are entitled to a protection order. And so I need facts.
My daughter, they sneak around, so nobody will know that they're sneaking around on me. They do everything behind my husband's back, everything. They don't do it in front of him.
Well, I don't even know what that means. They're doing everything behind his back, but I don't understand what that means. What are they doing?
Being mean to me,
And
being nasty to me,
And-
bullying me, putting me down like I have nothing to say, I guess.
so they're being mean and they bully. And so what is it that they are doing specifically to you? They're calling you names, but you don't want to tell me the names. They're taking you to the grocery store, and he calls his sister to let her know that you're going to the grocery store. What is mean or bullying?
Because I had told my daughter to stay away from me, and now my son is helping her to come down to the store to be there. I guess so. I'm gonna get another stroke then.
Mr.
Because
Knox,
I'm so petrified. I'm so scared what they've been doing to me.
but I'm not hearing that they're doing what I need help. I need you to explain what they are doing to you that causes you to be in such fear.
That's the best way I can explain it. And if
They're
it's not good
mean
enough,
and they
I don't know
bully.
what to do.
Okay, because I would need more detail, ma'am. If you want me to grant you a protection order, I need more detail about what they're being mean about specifically. If they're calling you names, whatever they're doing, I would need that specifically. Mr. Nachtigall, do you have anything you would like to say? No.
Well, I have a choice here. I either walk out and leave my place, and because he tried to get my husband to do something mean to me too, but he said, I can't do it because I know you will leave me if I do it, so. And I don't want to have another stroke or heart attack, and I just have to move out, honey. I cannot be around.
Move out.
I have to.
I don't have anything done to you.
No, you haven't. You caught yourself. You were going to go to follow what Karen wanted you to do, But you stopped yourself.
And I wonder,
But if she's gonna come around me and sneak around me and our son too, I cannot live like that, Fred. I have to leave.
Do you need help packing your bags? Honestly, it's incredibly frustrating to see people adopt a victim mindset simply to manipulate situations or gain sympathy in order to get what they want. Playing the victim instead of taking responsibility often creates unnecessary conflict and makes it harder to address the real issues in a fair and honest way.
And she's getting all my grandchildren to start being mean and nasty to me too. I mean, what kind of life is that for me? I've been petrified.
But the only thing that you can tell me that she's making your granddaughters say anything is that your granddaughter 3 years ago said something mean to you, but you can't remember what it was.
That it was pretty nasty, okay?
Well, I appreciate that.
And I never heard those words before, but it was pretty nasty. And the way my son is treating me behind his back too. I mean, it's just.
My suggestion is that you all engage in some kind of family therapy and try and figure out what's going on and why you perceive, for example, your son calling your daughter to say that you're going to the grocery store, why you perceive that as a threat. Because I don't understand the threat. And from what you're telling me, wait, let me finish. What I am hearing you say is you wrote a note to her a year ago and she has stayed away from you. But she still is apparently keeping track of you. But I don't see what the threat of that is really. And so I think what is probably more helpful, ma'am, is before you make a rash decision like just moving out of your house, is that you talk with a therapist with your husband, with your daughter, with your son, whoever wants to be involved, and try and figure out what's going on and why you're perceiving threats where they may not exist.
But they won't tell me what's wrong. I've been asking my daughter, why are you doing this? She won't answer me. Then she double abused me.
And what was the double abuse? Tell me what she did.
Verbal abuse. I mean,
what did she say to you?
I just don't want to remember it because it's so bad.
So I can't, that doesn't give me anything to work with.
So I have my whole family against me because of my daughter. And then it started.
It may be your perception, Ms. Noctegal, that your whole family is against you, but maybe they're not. Mr. Noctegal.
Then why would they abuse me?
I can't say that they have abused you because you can't tell me what they've done. I don't know why you're perceiving certain things as abuse. Mr. Noctegal, do you think the family is abusing your wife?
I really don't like to answer. It's just so complicated, and I don't want to hurt her and make it worse. I like not to talk about it.
Now that's a perceptive man, someone who has likely spent much of his life questioning how he keeps ending up trapped in the same exhausting cycle of no-win situations where every choice seems to lead to conflict and there never appears to be a clear path forward.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you in the middle. I just think that you need to go to a counselor, Ms. Noctegal.
I've done that too.
Okay, with your family maybe? Or with your husband?
Myself to help me with my trauma.
Mm-hmm. Your trauma.
And the PTSD.
What PTSD?
Everything started when I was helping my son for the business.
And I did read your statement.
Yeah.
You think that your daughter was jealous because
And
you
his
helped your
wife
son.
was actually physically attacking me, okay? I would have, my lawyer at that time was going to file criminal charges against her and put her into jail. I didn't want him to do that because of her children. She had a 2-year-old daughter, and she was pregnant with the second one, and then she had another third daughter. There's only one daughter that is a wonderful granddaughter. She didn't want to go through and do me any harm, and she came to me and told me, Oma, she calls me in German, Grandma Oma, and I know what malignant narcissist is.
Okay. So
I know what a covert narcissist is. I said, you do?
Okay.
And she actually apologized for what her mother did to me.
Okay. I am not going to grant you a temporary protection order. I don't find that you have proven by a preponderance of the evidence that what acts really occurred that would have caused you to feel that you are at risk or threat of physical harm or psychological or emotional harm.
Thank you.
That is not at all true. What I still suggest to you is that if people come to your house, that could be, and they're not invited, that's trespass. You can call the police about that, but it doesn't sound like that's what she's doing. Either one. I mean, you are relying on your son for help with a lot of things.
Well, I told her I'm gonna call 911 if you just come around me.
Right. So she's not coming around you. So my suggestion is that you go to a counselor. I don't know when the last time that you went to a counselor was, but I think that it might be worth you all talking to a counselor, maybe a family counselor, to see if you all, at least with your son, certainly your son is helping you with
That's
things,
not gonna help
with your-
me. I'm sorry. That's not gonna help me being afraid of them. What am I gonna do?
It might, ma'am, because I think possibly I'd like you to consider whether you are perceiving a threat where none exists. So I would just like you to consider that there may not be a threat, that maybe your family is just trying to keep an eye on you to make sure nothing
You
happens
could
to you.
see her evil face when she comes after me when I'm trying to get away from her.
Okay.
She doesn't talk to me. She doesn't say anything. So there's no argument. There's nothing. She just do everything in secret.
If everything is supposedly happening in secret, then an important question naturally follows. How do you know it's actually happening? It may be worth pausing to reflect on whether the situation is based on clear, verifiable reality, or if it's possible that some of these concerns are being shaped more by assumptions or perceptions than by concrete evidence.
Okay. All right. I just think that maybe it might be helpful to you to talk with your doctor as well about any medications that might be helpful to you. But I am not hearing that I just don't have enough to go on. You can obviously, if you decide that you can maybe put your mind to it, what they have actually said to you, what threats they've said, what
They're not gonna
names,
answer
what,
that. They're
no,
not gonna
it's from you. If you there's two alternatives, and maybe both should happen. One, find a counselor to talk with a counselor and just be honest about what the threat, why you're perceiving a threat when maybe none exists. Second option, hold on, let me finish.
I have to stop right now.
Okay.
I feel my blood pressure is going up high.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
I just can't find it.
The second option is that you get you sit down, think about names that they've called you or what really is bothering you, specific things that bother you, and come back to the court, okay?
No, you won't see me again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But thank you for trying to help me.
Okay.
But that's not helping me any.
All right. I don't think a protection order helps you either, so, all right.
Well, it should have. It would have helped me. My protection, I would have felt more lighter. I don't know. But now I'm really petrified.
Okay.
Now I'm so scared I don't even know what to do. I'm a nervous wreck, honey. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, you can always come back if you feel that you can recall specifically what's happened, and I will consider your request for a protection order. But I think at this point, it would be more wise for you to talk with your doctor or a therapist about your concerns. All right? And certainly if you're able to talk with your counselor and the counselor thinks that you're at risk, he can always come. Do you need water or anything? Do you need us to call the EMTs? Would you like us to, they're right down the street. Do you need us to call
No, it's okay. I'd rather die anyway. So anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sometimes courtroom moments take an unexpectedly awkward turn, like when someone dramatically insists they would rather die than accept the judge's ruling, only for the judge to calmly respond with a simple, "Okay, have a good day." It's a strange reminder that no matter how emotional things get, the court still moves forward with composure. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you found this case interesting and enjoy this kind of breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.